You know, in the Dandy Don Meredith, Roger Staubach legacy of the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of players were on the team became household words. But this guy was so underrated. He was never considered a running back, which was his primary position for the Cowboys, until college after he played as a linebacker for a while. He was a Cowboy in college, and he was a Cowboy for the Dallas Cowboys for his entire career, and he's really missed. I'm sorry I never did a tribute podcast when he passed away last year. I was reminded by a good friend in Frankton that maybe you should do something, and I agree with him. One of the best fullback running backs in Dallas history of the Daryl Johnson motif. Of course, it has to be Walt Garrison, now born Walter Benton Garrison in Denton, Texas, one of the most beautiful areas of the Lone Star State. He was a fullback in the NFL for the Cowboys for a number of years. He played college football for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, again, born in Denton, he attended nearby Louisville High School. He played as a linebacker in football and also took the court in basketball and the field in baseball. When he accepted his football scholarship from OSU, he had the intention of playing defense as a linebacker. He started school in the fall of '62 and played linebacker in the only two games the freshman team played that year, Arkansas and Stillwater and Oklahoma and Norman. Now, in the spring of '63, Phil Kuchin became the new head coach and moved Garrison to running back. I don't know what he saw in him, but he was only like 6 feet 205, but felt he had the speed to burn, even though he hadn't played the position in high school. Although Garrison was a backup player, he finished his sophomore season with 387 rushing yards, only 12 yards behind the team's leader, George Thomas, and the 10th highest total in the Big Eight. Now, as a junior in '64, he led the Big Eight in rushing with 730 yards, ahead of, get this, Gale Sayers, of all people, and Jim Grisham. He also had 5 rushing touchdowns and 83 receiving yards. Now, his senior year, he broke through with 924 total rushing yards, 107 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. He ranked second in rushing yards in the Big Eight, just behind Missouri Charlie Brown. He carried the ball 19 times for 121 rushing yards against the then undefeated University of Nebraska. He also rushed for 173 yards against Kansas, and he helped the Cowboys to their first win over Oklahoma in 20 years. That was a big upset. His postseason highlights included appearances in the East-West Shrine game in San Francisco, the Senior Bowl. He was voted the outstanding back of the North team, the Coaches All-America game in Atlanta, and the College All-Star game against the champion Green Bay Packers in the NFL in August '66. Now, inducted in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame in 1993, in 2000, he was inducted in the Oklahoma State Athletics Hall of Honor. Now, when he was selected by the Cowboys in the 5th round of the '66 NHL Draft, they had no indications that this guy would play a big role in the future success of the Cowboys. He was also selected by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 17th round, 151st overall of the '66 AFL Draft. In his first 2 NFL seasons for Dallas, he was mainly used as a kick returner. In '68, he had 45 carries for 271 yards and 5 touchdowns as a positional backup player. In '69, he took over at fullback after retirement of Don Perkins, posting a career-high 818 rushing yards while scoring 2 touchdowns and forming one of the league's best running back duos with Calvin Hill. Now, in '70, with the arrival of rookie Dwayne Thomas, he tallied 126 carries for 507 yards and 3 touchdowns. His style of play and perceived ability to play hurt brought him recognition in Cowboys lore, which included playing the NFC Championship game against the 49ers with a broken collarbone and a serious ankle injury, but still managed to record 17 carries for 71 yards, 3 receptions for 51 yards, and 1 touchdown. It was reported in the media that the trainers needed 36 yards of tape to get him ready to play in Super Bowl V. Of course, a tough loss, the Colts. Now, during Dallas' championship season of '71, he showed his pass-catching skills, leading the team with 40 receptions. This is like a sort of a Moose Johnson style. That year, the Cowboys rolled their 3 running backs all the way to the Super Bowl VI victory, similar to what Mercury Moore's kick and Zonka did in Miami. Now, in '72, he was featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated for his Pro Football Preview issue, and the photos were from Super Bowl VI in January. During the season, he unfortunately suffered a 16-stitch cut to one of his fingers while doing his favorite hobby, whittling. He pretty well cut off that finger. He was named to the Pro Bowl that year with 784 yards and 7 touchdowns, even though he was part of a 3-headed rushing attack. He played in the Pro Bowl a few days after suffering a gash in his face while steer wrestling. Now, the 73 was a rough season. He suffered pinched nerves in his neck during training camp and had headaches so severe that he couldn't sleep. Robert Newhouse, then a rookie, was promoted as a starting fullback, performing well enough that it was his sixth game of the season before Garrison could get his starting position back. He still had 105 carries for 440 yards, second on the team, and was third in receiving with 26 receptions. He missed the season finale with a cracked collarbone, but was back in the lineup the next week in the postseason. Now, a real cowboy. He spent time in the professional rodeo circuit during the football off-seasons, making him a two-sport athlete. His signing bonus with the Cowboys in '66 included a horse trailer. Along with Larry Mahan, two-time World Bull Riding champion, he was one of only two Cowboys to ever compete on a ride on a famous rodeo bull named Oscar. In June '75, he made an appearance at the College National Rodeo Finals in Bozeman, but a knee injury sustained in an exhibition steer wrestling accident ended his pro football career. He retired in August '75 and was replaced in the starting lineup with Newhouse. Now, there's some question if they could have won the Super Bowl in '76 against the Steelers if Garrison was in the lineup. Newhouse was more than capable. But, the ball possession back that he was tremendous. Now, he played in the NFL for 9 seasons, missing only 7 games, all of them with the Cowboys. He finished his career with 3,886 yards rushing and 1,794 yards receiving. He retired as the third leading rusher and fourth leading receiver in team history. Ring of Honor down the road, I hope so. Now, Garrison was a gregarious guy, good sense of humor. Now, but this is one of the most humorous sports quotes ever. I heard about this when I was a young kid. Don Meredith once said about Garrison, if it was third down, you needed 4 yards. If you get the ball to Garrison, he'd give you 5. And if it was third down, you needed 20 yards. If you get the ball to Garrison, by God, he'd get you 5. Now, Garrison was named to the Dallas Cowboys 25th anniversary team and also inducted in the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 2012. Now, again, a 2-time Super Bowl finalist, 71 champ. Best season, of course, was 69, where he averaged 62.9 yards per game. But his receiving numbers were tremendous, ladies and gentlemen. He had 167 in the Super Bowl, 127 carries, and 40. And it's kind of weird about the 5.0 reference, because Garrison was so consistent between 4.0 and 5.0 in most of his carries. Now, he had 26 fumbles, unfortunately, and 6 fumble recoveries. Now, Garrison was also a longtime spokesperson for Skoal Smokeless Tobacco and was the television spokesperson for Bill Uter Ford near Denton. In '88, he published biography Once a Cowboy with writer John Tullius. Very interesting read, by the way, if you can find it. The title is a reference not only to his rodeo cowboy career, but also to his career with the Cowboys and his college career with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, he also served military duty in New Jersey and Fort Lewis. He eventually established the Walt Garrison Multiple Sclerosis Foundation and later resided in Argyle, Texas. Unfortunately, he died in Weatherford, Texas on October 11th, 2023 at the age of 79. Now, it's kind of weird about this, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody was hoping that Walt Garrison would be healthy enough to lead that, the dynasty. But I see the 78 Super Bowl, I look at the 76 Super Bowl. Garrison was should have played in those, but injuries kind of caught up to him. I don't know what the policy was because, give an example. Tom Landry put up with Dwayne Thomas, but why was Tom Landry putting up with Garrison's rodeo career? Well, you knew it was probably going to shorten his career. Now, again, Super Bowl champion, number 6, Pro Bowl in '72, 25th anniversary team, first team All Big 8, and second team All Big 8. 119 games, 72 starts, 39 touchdowns, total yards from scrimmage, 5,680, although he was a return specialist for a little while. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Walt Garrison, you look at the movie North Dallas 40, he took Garrison and kind of put him in there and some of the characters. It's weird. It's weird how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. But the idea about Garrison, again, what you saw is what you got. Now, 4.3 average, 30 yards per game. You wouldn't think a player getting 30 yards a game would be in the NFL for almost a decade. But he was just a tremendous asset, a good teammate, a good... Now, kick and punt returns, ladies and gentlemen. He had returned 20 in 1966 in 14 games, 20 in 1967, and he had, in those years, he had a combined 811, kick return yards, and a return 1 in 69. But again, he wore the famous number 32. The only big problem he was very susceptible to fumbles. He had actually 12 in these key years in 71 and 72. Anyway, he did as well have one pass not completed in 1973, a new house option. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of the great Walt Garrison. I really miss him on cold nights because he should have been a CFL player. He probably would have had a nice career with the Montreal Alouettes or the Edmonton Eskimos of the NFL because, he was that type of player. That open field might have extended his career. But like I said, that injury in the rodeo really kicked in. So, ladies and gentlemen, for what you're doing here, we're a Dallas Cowboy podcast. Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.